What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Endzone, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment, show about football by guys that love football. I'm your host, Craig, and my co-host,
Your boy Ace.
and we're here for another week of great football. Week 1 underway, and I gotta say for myself, it was a pretty awesome week of football.
Great week of football.
Man, it was crazy. I loved everything about it. Let's jump right into the injury report. I think the biggest injury of the week, Nick Foles out with a broken clavicle. The only thing I can say for him is at least it happened on a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
So I mean, he went out big, but he did go out, and they have do you have his name? I forgot how to say his name. It's something weird.
It's a weird name.
Yeah,
but he did well.
He did very well.
Did well.
Yeah. It was an impressive performance. I guess Nick Foles didn't play the whole preseason, so this dude had all the time in the world to develop a relationship with these guys.
And then I know they went out and got Josh Dobbs from Pittsburgh.
From Pittsburgh Steelers for the backup.
Yep.
So they're making moves. They're figuring it out. But Nick Foles is on short-term injury reserve with no timetable to return. Another huge injury, Tyreek Hill. With a shoulder injury that I think went into it also created some problem in his abdomen or lung or something like that. Once he actually avoided short-term injury reserve, and
that was kind of dirty though.
Yeah,
that was a dirty play.
It was a dirty play.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, you know. Some people say karma, but I don't know. Whatever happened, it sucks to see a player like that missing the season.
But KC would be good without him, though, so it's all good.
I mean, they played very well without him, and they got the job done, except for Patrick Mahomes' attempt at another no-look pass. Like, look at your player, bro. That made me so mad.
That's what he does, though.
Yeah, but he didn't do it good. You know, if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. Joe Mixon sprains his ankle. Cincinnati seems to be optimistic that he will play in week 2, but keep an eye on that. Watch out for Giovanni Bernard. Devin Funchess also breaks his shoulder. That's 3 broken shoulders in week 1.
Yes.
That's some crazy stuff.
That's a huge loss, too.
Huge loss.
For the Colts.
It means Paris Campbell's got to step up. You know, the rookie has got to make moves. A lot of good rookies. Well, we'll get into that later, but a lot of good rookies in week 1. But Paris Campbell's going to have to step up and take that position. Malik Jackson out for the season. And then Nathan Shepard from the New York Jets suspended for 6 games for using substance abuse for substance. Yeah, and it was some form of performance enhancement drug, so it was definitely inappropriate. Also, in not injury news, but Miles Jack from the Jacksonville Jaguars and Kawan Alexander both get ejected from the game for dirty hits and inappropriate actions on the field. It's yet to be determined whether or not there'll be further punishment, but those 2 guys got ejected early in their games. And now on to AC for the recap.
So the recap for week 1, which was a great week of football, you had, starting off, I'm going to go from last night's game down. The Denver Broncos play versus the Oakland Raiders. Oakland Raiders won 24-16. The Houston Texans lost a tough one to the Saints, 30-28.
Great game.
New England Patriots beat down Pittsburgh 33-3. The Arizona Cardinals tied versus the Detroit Lions. It was a great game all the way to the end. 49ers give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a beatdown 31-17. The Cowboys made it look easy versus the Giants, 35-17. The Seahawks played a tough one versus the Cincinnati Bengals, 21-20. The Chargers and the Colts came down to overtime, another tough game.
Yes.
The Chargers came up with the win, 30-24. The Philadelphia Eagles played versus the Washington Redskins, which was another tough game. The Eagles won 32-27. The Tennessee Titans beat down the Cleveland Browns 43-13. The Buffalo Bills play versus the New York Jets. Tough game all the way down to the end. The Bills won 17-16. The Atlanta Falcons got killed versus the Minnesota Vikings 28-12. Kansas City Chiefs made it look easy versus the Jacksonville Jaguars 40-26. The beatdown of all football over the weekend was the Baltimore Ravens beating down the Dolphins 59-10. The Los Angeles Rams beat the Panthers in a tight one 30-27. And then on the Thursday night game, it was the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears celebrating the 100th year of football. The Green Bay Packers won 10-3.
10-3. That game was definitely I feel like it was a defensive chess match.
Yep.
Neither one of them can get their offense going. But all in all, I think it was a good game. Green Bay Packers showed us that they got a defense to be trifled with.
It did show us
Not
that
to be
like
trifled
they
with.
actually, like we talked about
Yeah.
in the shows previous, that they did invest on their defense, and for you to have a team put up 3 points in the first week, and that's where you really invested your time on the offseason on your defense, brought in a few veteran guys. It showed like they did what they needed to do.
Yep.
So
They
hopefully
made the
could-
right moves.
Yeah, and hopefully they can continue on with this momentum into week 2.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people thought that was a boring game, but I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, I like
and
tight games.
Rashad Gary, remember we were trying to figure out
Yeah.
it was Rashad Gary, and I don't know if he played much at all in that game, but I do know that the Green Bay Packers put on a hell of a defensive show against the defense that was pretty tough to begin with in the Bears. So hats off to both teams for doing their best, but Green Bay gets it done by being the only team to score a touchdown. All right, now we have to step into the biggest news in the NFL, and I don't even know how long.
Well, you got to recap your team.
Yeah. I almost forgot. Sorry. Thank you for keeping me on track.
I keep you on track.
Keep
You're
me
trying to
on
jump the
track.
gun.
I tried to jump the gun.
We know you're excited over
I
there.
am excited. I just wanted to get right down to brass
Relax
tacks.
there, Tiger.
All right. So, for my picks of the week, I had the Rams versus the Panthers. Panthers +3. Rams won. One for me. Philly versus Washington. Philly didn't cover the spread, so I lose on that one. Jets versus Buffalo. Buffalo won outright, so I lost that one. Baltimore versus Miami, and we all know Baltimore dominated. That's 2 for me. Cleveland versus Tennessee. That was a trash of a performance. I was so mad. So Cleveland lost another pick for me. I picked the San Francisco 49ers over Tampa Bay. That was another one for me. Dallas over the Giants. I got that one as well. I got Oakland over Denver. I was wrong on Detroit. Actually, I was right about Detroit over Arizona, but the coaches ruined my victory, and so I lost that one to a tie. And then I got the Cincinnati over Seattle. So I have a total of 6 victories. Let's hear yours.
For me, I had the Los Angeles Rams -3 to Carolina. I picked the Rams. The Rams won that. I had Baltimore -7 versus Miami. Baltimore won that. I had KC -3.5 to Jacksonville. KC won that. I had Tennessee versus Cleveland. I had Cleveland. I took a L right there. I had Cincinnati versus the Seahawks. Seattle won the game, but they lost by the spread, so I took an L right there. I had Indy versus the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers won by 6, so I lost by a half a point right there. I had San Fran versus Tampa Bay. So I had San Fran in that. San Fran won that game. New York Giants versus Dallas. Dallas was -7. Dallas won that game. Detroit versus Arizona. I had Arizona +2.5. They tied, so I take that win.
Yes, you do.
And then I had Denver versus Oakland. I took Oakland because I thought AB would be playing, but I guess he wasn't.
And it did not matter.
It did not matter, and I had Oakland anyway, so therefore I won.
There you go.
Yeah, so actually I won 7 games.
Oh, you got 7?
7, yeah, because that Oakland game.
Oh, I shouldn't have said nothing.
Yeah.
Damn.
So on our picks, I'm 7 and Craig 6 for this week 1.
It's bogus. We'll keep track in the back of my notebook. We'll put a nice little 7 over here for this guy, and myself got a little 6. I feel terrible. All right, now back to the news that I was talking about. So Antonio Brown, we all know, he had some drama in Oakland, helmets, talking trash to the owner, gets himself released. And, everybody's thinking, nobody's going to want to sign him. Maybe he goes to the Jets to rejoin Le'Veon Bell. Maybe he goes to Arizona to help the rookie wide receiver. There's a lot of teams that, maybe even Denver, a lot of teams that look like teams that could snag him up. and I even thought maybe Detroit might jump on that bandwagon. But Antonio Brown is no mistaken. He's my favorite wide receiver all time. And wouldn't you know? Yeah, all time.
Wow.
Favorite wide receiver. I love Antonio Brown.
Of all time.
Of all time. Listen, I didn't stop really watching football until I was 20.
It shows a little bit.
It shows, right?
Yeah.
I didn't start watching football until I was 20, and it shows. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not even going to deny it. I got into football late in my life. I used to love playing football, but I never watched it. I was a kid who liked to be outside. I didn't like to watch football. And so I got into it, and Antonio was one of those players I got to watch come up, and I've always loved his game, and he's won me some fantasy leagues. He's my favorite wide receiver. I love Randy Moss. I love Jerry Rice, but Antonio is my guy. So when I hear the news that he gets signed to the New England Patriots, I was at Salem Willows, and I literally walked up to every man at Salem Willows and was like, "Did you hear? Antonio Brown is a New England Patriot, 1-year deal." He gets a 1-year deal, $9 million guaranteed. What people don't know is he gets 5 right away, but then 4 later on. It doesn't come. It's not coming all at once, and then he can earn up to $15 million with incentives. They also added an additional option of a 2-year deal for the following year. A $20 million deal for his second year, all guaranteed if he plays. But this has a lot of implications. What do you think?
Well, after looking into it,
Yeah.
It all made sense.
Mm-hmm.
After looking into it, due to the simple fact is this: when he wanted to get out of Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
Patriots was the first people that wanted to get him.
Yes.
So, Pittsburgh is not going to make a trade with the Patriots, knowing that they're rivals. So
And in the same conference.
In the same conference, so they wasn't going to do that. So they get rid of him, let him go to Oakland. What people don't realize is he probably touched the field twice with Oakland for 2 practices, F that.
Yeah.
So I think it was all like a little setup, whereas he really wasn't going to play for Oakland in the beginning.
Yeah.
He just went there just to go there, and then he wanted to see how could I get back to the Patriots. So how could he get back to the Patriots? Let me walk away from $30 million. But in all reality, playing with the Patriots, he can make up to $35 million. So in reality, he's not really losing money.
No.
Even though he walked away from that $30 million, that's what people's feeling in the midst. Like, oh, he walked away from $30 million. But like you said, he's getting $9 million this year, but he has the option to get $15 million.
Correct.
And then if the Patriots re-sign him till 2020, then he gets another $20 million guaranteed.
Correct.
That makes it $35 million. That means he's getting $5 more million than he would have playing in Oakland.
At the very least, he'll get, if he plays for 2 years, he gets all of his money. All that, because he was $29 million. There's $29 million on the table for 2 years. So there it is. He can.
Well, $35 million.
Well, if he makes his incentives.
He's going to make his incentives.
Well, do you know what? Because I actually just found out. He actually has to he has to get 100 yards more than his best season in Pittsburgh, and he has to get 1 touchdown more than his best season in Pittsburgh. That could be difficult, but it is doable with a guy like Antonio Brown.
But it's doable with a guy even if he comes close, they still, when they say incentives,
Yeah.
all you have to do is kind of make it,
Get in the ballpark.
do what you got to do, stay out the limelight, play the Patriots way, and you're going to get your money.
Correct.
What threw me off is a cap proration purposes.
Yeah.
That right there, the proration part, I'm like, I had to Google what it means and everything. I'm like, what's this? And then it's kind of like the Pats found the loophole in order to get him more money.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
For that 2020 season. So in reality, and then it's like when Oakland released him, I saw the FaceTime with his grandmom, like, God is good. Like, you could tell he knew where he was going.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So all implications leading up knew he was going to be a New England Patriot. And for me, and I did my little research and everything on it, it's not surprising. He made himself look bad in the media.
Yeah.
He called his owner all type of discriminatory names and stuff like that. We're not going to go there.
Yeah, we don't have to go there.
And, the only real problem that he had was his feet, to me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what
the
you're saying.
helmet and all that was all BS, all to prolong this.
Prolong this to
You
keep,
get what I'm saying?
keep him off the Raiders and to make him undesirable.
And then I love what Thomas said from New Orleans about Mayock, the owner of Oakland.
Yeah, Mayock,
When he's like, you can't really pay attention to Mayock because he passed up on me for someone else. I forget who he passed up on him for.
I don't even, Cooper.
Somebody
It
like
was
that,
Amari
yeah,
Cooper.
yeah. And he's no longer there. So it's kind of like, I think in all reality, AB tarnished his time in Oakland. People's like, oh, he left Oakland. Not really, because he never even really.
Yeah, he
suited up
wasn't
for
really
them.
there. He was there for a couple little OTA things and was hanging out with Derek Carr. But here's the thing:
Playing game.
The way I see it is, there's two sides to this coin. With him coming to the Patriots, and one is that people see the drama that he brings to the locker room, but that isn't one. He knows what the New England Patriots are about. When he was in Pittsburgh, he was enabled because he was the biggest star on the team. He's not the biggest star on the team anymore. He's not the number one guy anymore, and nobody's going to tolerate him. And we've already proven against a excellent team that we can do it without him. And he got to see that we can do it without him.
But
yeah,
you can't say that due to the simple fact is, I'm not saying from the Patriots standpoint, but Pittsburgh Steelers is no longer a great team.
I mean, they got a good run game, good defense.
The run game's subpar now. Because like I told you before on previous shows is, when you get rid of a guy like AB who was getting double teamed, Patriots played one-on-one coverage versus Juju, and he didn't do nothing.
No.
He got his catches during bump time, fourth quarter, stuff like that.
Yeah, and
leading up to
catch was on a
halftime,
blown pass.
leading up to halftime, he had like 2 catches.
Yeah.
I think he probably finished the game with like 4 or 5 catches for like.
I will say that
for 40,
Gilmore
50 yards.
is ranked as the number one shutdown corner in the NFL. So I give Juju a little bit of leeway.
But he's ranked because of their defense.
Yeah.
Their Patriots defense is different compared to like
Correct.
other guys in the league that play corner that's locking up too.
Yeah.
You got like 5, 6 guys that lock up. So just
feel you.
imagine when you play versus them and they know that they can play him one-on-one coverage. Now most other teams is gonna sit here and double team him. That's what I thought they was gonna do. I thought the Patriots would double team Juju, so I was surprised by seeing them play man-to-man coverage on him and him not even be able to perform a man-to-man coverage.
No.
So it's like, you're gonna have a long season, buddy. AB's not there getting double coverage.
True.
And now now on the flip side of things, look at the dynamics for the Patriots. Someone like Josh Gordon, who performed in his first game, showed everybody he's back, he's good. Now with AB, who are you gonna double team, Gordon or AB?
You can't.
You can't.
I think that, to be honest with you, I think Josh Gordon is the biggest benefit.
Yeah, and then you got Edelman too, because Edelman and AB has both of the same styles. They're not scared to come across the middle on slants, run posts and stuff like that, and make plays and get yards. We call that yards after the catch. So therefore, Gordon benefits, Edelman benefits, the whole receiver core benefits,
the run game benefits,
the run game benefits,
everything.
Like I saw Patriots going a run heavy offense and do play actions and boom, let it go quick. Like Brady looked like he was vintage Brady. Like, Pittsburgh looked like all the air was sucked out of them. They didn't have no fight in them.
Well, you know what? They said it on the Sports Hub, and I really like what they said. I think that the Steelers came out to defend a team that they expected to run the ball. And the Patriots weren't run heavy. They were pass heavy, and I don't think that – I know you like Tomlin, but I don't like Tomlin. I don't think he's good at adjustments. I think he came in with a game plan and he couldn't get away from it. But what I was going to say about AB is, with this whole problem and his problems in the locker room, you don't sign to a team like New England knowing that a coach is not going to tolerate your bullshit. Like, a lot of people are saying, I give it 3 weeks, he'll play great for 3 weeks, and then he'll turn back in AB. I don't believe that at all. I believe that there might be that you might have a little bit of a little bit of sniping from him, at some point in time during the season. But I bet you that gets railed in real quick. I don't think that he's going to be a problem.
I beg to differ. I think that he's just going to go there and play football.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because at the end of the day, it's like this. And Gronk said it best. When you're in that Patriots locker room, you see Bill says hi to you, and that's it. everybody is treated the same.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady's not treated better than Gilmore. Gilmore's not treated better than Josh Gordon. Everybody's an equal person there.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, their schemes and their game planning wins them games.
Exactly.
They don't need the players.
And Antonio wants that ring before he's done. So
yeah, so I think he's good now.
Yeah.
I think we won't hear about him no more. He's good.
I think there could be I think the only reason why you won't hear about Antonio Brown in any drama is because the Patriots don't put their business in the street. And that's what they're going to tell him, like, listen, all that.
He's still going to be on social media because he gets paid. People don't realize this.
He's building his brand.
Exactly. Athletes brand themselves through social media. So there's a lot of athletes that get paid big money on social media. So you can't take that away from them because social media is an outlet in order for you to build your brand. Because your brand is bigger than football. Because you can get hurt today,
and he said it to
tomorrow
Josh
you have
Gruden.
nothing.
He said there's a phone recording that he put on a promo video he made for himself.
Yep.
And he said, "I'm not just football. I'm a person," and that's true. I don't wanna beat this issue to death. I do want to say congratulations to the Raiders for being able to win without him against a fairly tough defense.
Yep.
And I look forward to seeing. I hope Antonio Brown plays against Miami. Belichick said it's up in the air right now. It's a day-to-day situation. But I think this would be a good warm-up game to get him acclimated to our team. But it looks like the season for the Patriots has no ceiling.
Has no ceiling.
No ceiling.
Absolutely right about that.
Oh man. And kind of, I just want to take a quick second. I didn't send this to you when I said it, but I want to just take a quick second to talk about the destruction of the Miami Dolphins. Like, did you hear? Like, multiple players on the team call their agents to be traded. This is a team nobody wants to play for because they have no intention on winning games. I would like to see. I think to be honest with you, I said this to somebody the other day. This is the best time for Miami right now. I would trade away Xavier Howard. You could probably get a first-round draft pick for him, maybe a second. You've already stacked up on first-round picks. They can build their team over the next 2-3 years and be prepared for when Brady retires and possibly be one of the strongest teams in our division.
Yeah, we talked about that, and like I told you, after they got rid of Kenny Stills and the lineman
and Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah, I told you they was tanking.
Yeah,
like
they should go after. They're gonna tank the season. They're gonna get number one over. They're gonna go for what's his name, Lawrence or. What's that?
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
From
you know,
Clemson?
get him, get a running back, get some defensive tackles and defensive ends, rebuild that team from scratch. I think in 3 years, that's about the time Tom Brady retires, or at least a year after he retires. You're ready to go. You're ready to compete against the Patriots. Might be a smart move for them. Now, let's get into the players of the week. And for me, number one with a bullet. Not the best player, but just the biggest.
Well, we did the top 10 players of the week. You can't put them in any order because some guys.
Yeah, I don't think there is an
crazy.
order.
Yeah.
These guys in this list have just performed, but my favorite performance was from the cousin of my boy. So I got to bring him up. Hollywood Marquise Brown. He goes 4 for 5, 147 yards, 2 TDs, and an 83-yard touchdown. This kid looked great.
I love it because I told you.
You did tell me
that he was nasty.
Uh-huh.
He was like,
Yeah, rookie wide receivers, Yeah, you never know what's going to happen.
I told you.
Nobody was talking about Juju his rookie year, and he was the best rookie wide receiver.
All I can say is I told you on that one.
You did. I can't deny it, but this kid looked amazing, and Lamar Jackson, just to follow it up.
Yeah, 17 for 20, 324, and 5 TDs. I was so mad because I was playing versus him in fantasy. And I'm like, bro, he put up 40-something, almost 50 fantasy points. I'm like,
ridiculous.
This is nuts. I'm like, come on. And versus any other team, he's not doing that. But one thing I could say is, no hateration because I did play versus him in fantasy, so that's why I was a little salty.
Yep.
Is he was throwing the ball actually really well.
Very well.
Really well.
Like nobody can say Lamar can't throw the ball. Now,
I always told you when he was at Louisville, in that passing offense, he was slinging it, and then you told me, hey, he got accuracy problems. But
They built on it.
You could tell that he was working on that in the summertime because those balls. I was like, me. I pay attention to the little things, how the ball was coming out fast. His reads, he was making good reads, good check downs,
Hitting people in stride.
He wasn't trying to go for the home run play every play. He wasn't even trying to run the ball like that. So it was surprising.
I didn't even see him run.
No, he didn't.
Yeah,
he didn't run like that.
That was. I mean, all around Baltimore looked incredible.
So he got the NFL on a high alert right now because he showed them what he really can do.
Yeah, this was like Baltimore. Granted, playing against like an abysmal Miami team, but at the end of the day, they went up against professional football players.
No matter
and
what.
First line football players, and that was an incredible performance. Who you got?
Next up is it's the day for the Browns. A.J. Brown, he had 3 catches for 100 yards, but he had 0 TDs. That was the only downfall to him.
Yeah, it was a downfall.
But he did have some big catches, and he did have some big catches in that game. But
he made some plays.
Yeah,
man.
but the 0 TDs was kind of like,
You know what I didn't realize, and maybe I just never really saw him before the game, but he's a big boy.
Big
yo.
boy, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like that's a wide receiver that you don't bring down easy. I think you're gonna see big things from this kid as the future progresses. That was, I don't know, he was really exciting. What a shock to me was John Ross, a guy who's been first round pick, who was injured his first year, terrible his second year until the end of the season after A.J. Green and Tyler Boyd went down. Then he showed flashes. But 7 for 12, 158 yards and 2 touchdowns. John Ross was looking real impressive.
Yeah, he was. I had John Brown down. Yeah. Nope. Next is Kyler.
What? Next is
I had Kyler Murray.
Yes, Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, he went.
Yo boy.
He went 29 for 54, 308, 2 TDs, 1 into, and his longest pass was 45 yards. He had 3 rushes for 13 yards, but I want to rewind the tape a little bit.
Okay, because he played terribly.
No. First quarter, second quarter, he didn't play terrible. He played,
Yeah, it was not good.
Not good. Second half, he performed. He
came
performed
back.
Second half. He had a game-winning drive, technically. He had a game-winning drive. And then after that, in overtime, he drove him down the field again.
Yeah.
And they got the field goal.
Yeah.
But, NFL rules is if you get a field goal, the other team get a chance. But if their defense could have stopped them on 3rd and 16, the game would have been over if, I forget the DB's name, he dropped the pick. When the DB dropped the pick.
Oh, yeah. But the only reason why he got an opportunity for that pick, technically, Detroit won that game. They had the stop. It was over, and the offensive coordinator, for no reason anybody can figure, calls timeout. He doesn't call that timeout. McGuire catches the pass. They get a first down. They run out the clock. It's game over. So Kyler Murray did get lucky in order to bring that game to overtime.
But he showed people doubted him that first half. The second half, he came back.
He did come back.
I got to give the boy credit for what he did.
And I will say, to come back from such a to me, I thought his performance was pretty bad in the first half. Like, I thought it was borderline terrible. But he showed that he can overcome adversity.
Yes.
And that when the game was on the line, he could get his poise, and he could bring the ball down the field. I was very impressed by that. I thought the way he was losing, that he was going to shut down. He did not shut down. He kept going. He showed that he is a pro.
I like that.
But I definitely had I watching the first half. I'm not going to lie to you. I was looking forward to coming in here and talking a whole lot of shit to you about your boy Kyler, because I don't dislike Kyler, but I know how much you like him. So to be able to, have that little bomb on you, it was going to be nice. But then he came back and he impressed me, so I did like that. A nice little vet coming out of the woodwork, Deshaun Jackson, going 8 for 10, 154 yards and 2 TDs. He's glad to be back in the city of brotherly love, and he's doing big things in week 1. But that game was a little bit embarrassing in the first half for the Eagles. They got dominated.
It's NFL. That's why you play 4 quarters.
Yeah, that's true. That's why you play 4 quarters. You ain't wrong about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like
did you see the 53-yard catch that he caught?
Yeah.
In stride.
In stride.
Still has wheels. He's still running 4.3 speed.
Oh, he's got the wheels for days. DBs are terrified when Jackson comes by him, man.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the Eagles wanted him back. There's a reason why they wanted him in Tampa. There was a reason why he was over in Washington, is because the man can still play football. And I think he's trying to finish his career where he started, and I like that.
Yeah.
And he's going to do big things in Philly with Carson Wentz as his quarterback.
Next up, I have Derrick Henry.
Yes.
He was okay. He had 19 attempts, rushing attempts for 84 yards and 1 TD. And then he had 1 TD catch for 75 yards. And that one catch for 75 yards, he made that defense look so dumb.
I was saying
it was almost
earlier,
like it was slow-mo, too.
Thank you. He runs like Gronk, where it looks like he's slow, but no one could catch up to him.
Yeah, I'm like, nobody's really catching him. All bad. They all did bad pursuit angles. If you don't know what a pursuit angle is anytime someone catch the ball and they're running like that, you shoot for the pylon always. They was just running like behind his jersey instead of running in front of him.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So like if
I
he's
didn't
going,
know that though. That's cool though.
Yeah.
Run towards the pylon.
Like if it's a pursuit angle where someone's catching it here and I'm on this opposite side and he's running like this, I'm shooting the pylon to cut him off. You get what I'm saying? I'm not gonna, if he's running the ball, if he's catching it on this sideline, he's catching it and I'm here, I'm not gonna run to the back of his jersey because you ain't never gonna catch him that way. You gotta shoot the pylon and meet him halfway. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, where's your pursuit angles at, guys?
Yeah, no, it was terrible.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I actually said this earlier on the flex, is that he wasn't super impressive.
No.
He had a long touchdown and another touchdown and in some decent yardage. But like that one, like if he didn't get that one long touchdown, you take that away and he had an okay day.
Absolutely.
We're not even talking about him today, but he gets that 75-yard touchdown, and it was an impressive run. It was definitely a bad defensive pursuit, but you know he does do it, so we are talking about him. It was an impressive day. What I really liked was Le'Veon Bell.
Yes, sir.
Coming to the Jets and doing what people doubted he could do. I feel like there's a lot of people in fantasy who are like, damn, I could have drafted him 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but they didn't take him. A lot of people doubted his ability, but he's Le'Veon Bell, man. Nobody is more patient and has a better surveillance of the field than Le'Veon Bell behind that offensive line. And he came in and he did work. It wasn't the greatest. 17 rushes for 60 yards, 6 receptions for 32 yards, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion.
An important one, too.
A very important one. I mean, this was a good game. The only reason why they lose this game is because of bad play calling.
Yeah.
If they had better play calling, they win this game. But Le'Veon Bell came in and he did his job.
I give him credit because he's trying to make up for the fantasy guys. He totally made that promise, so I'm still holding him to his promise.
And he has not. Week 1, he did not let down.
Next up, I got Dak Prescott. He went 25 for 32, 405 yards, 4 TDs, 4 rushes for 12 yards.
No sacks.
No sacks. He made everything look so easy. It seemed like he'd been working on his timing. Seemed like he's been working on his communication with his receivers, and it just looked like he was just having fun out there.
And he's proven that the contract he wants is on. He might actually be worth it. I mean, the biggest thing for me always with a quarterback is, I'll say it all the time now, is hitting players in stride.
Yes.
And he did that. The only thing I was nervous about is the beginning of the game. Giants stop them and they bring it down and score first. I was like, what's going on right now? But then it was just the trample squad came out and just dominated.
4 quarters of football.
Yeah, man. The Cowboys looked real good. Once again, shout out to E-Dub, biggest Cowboy fan in Lynn, Mass. But yeah, this was an impressive performance by Dak Prescott and the whole entire Cowboys as a whole. Next on the list is T.J. Hawkinson, 6 for 9, 103 yards and a touchdown. He broke the rookie season opening day record for tight ends, beating out Gronk. And this was an awesome performance. He's a guy to watch out for. I think he's going to be one of the shining lights of this offense.
Absolutely. And last but not least, I have Sammy Watkins, 9 catches, 198 yards, 3 TDs. His longest one was 68 yards.
Yo, Sammy Watkins came out of nowhere. I don't think if you told me Sammy Watkins would not only score 3 touchdowns, but he'd be the star of this game, I'd tell you were a liar and you should slap yourself in the face with baby powder. But Sammy Watkins has shown up. He's here to stay. He's here to play, and it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, there's not much more you can say about that guy.
No.
All right, now we have the top 5 games of the week. And I want to start off real quick with a divisional matchup in our division. Bills versus Jets, man. The Jets come in, put up 15 points, unanswered, 17 points.
Because it was 17-16, so he put up 17.
Oh, so no, 16 points. 16 points unanswered from the Jets. And then the Bills come back after playing terribly. They turn it around and scored 17 unanswered points to take the victory. This was a very sloppy game on both sides of the ball, but also a very impressive and fun game to watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The next game I got up is the Redskins versus Philly. Philly won that game 32-27. Philly was down 17 points. D. Jackson came alive, scoring his touchdowns, as we mentioned. But what was impressive for me was watching the Redskins and seeing Case Keenum go 30 for 44, 380 yards and 3 TDs, no picks. And then watching Carson Wentz went 28 for 39 for 313 yards and 3 TDs. Both of them had no interceptions, and it felt like the DBs was MIA, nowhere to be found, because
it was crazy.
It was a shootout.
Yeah, man, I think, to be honest with you, from 2 teams that you wouldn't have expected to be such a dynamic game. So for me, hats off to Case Keenum and the Redskins for making this a real game.
Yeah.
And then we can breeze through it, but Cardinals versus the Lions, an incredible game. Lions came out dominating, putting the hurt on, and then, like I said, Kyler Murray gets his poise, gets his sea legs underneath him, and pounds it down the field.
They had 6 points at halftime, 2 field goals, and then he erupted.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like he
did.
erupted for 17 points after that, including the overtime field goal. But what was most impressive to me is what I told you.
Yeah,
is with Kyler Murray there, that brought Larry Fitzgerald 2 to 3 more years left in his life or in his football career.
He played incredible football.
Larry Fitz had 8 receptions, 113 yards, 1 TD. Shout out to Larry Fitzgerald, OG in the game. Keep balling.
Yeah, right? How are 2 of the best wide receivers of the week 2 of the oldest wide receivers in the NFL?
Sometimes it's like that.
Yeah, sometimes it is like that. Those 2 guys, Deshaun Jackson, Larry Fitzgerald, hats off to you gentlemen. Take a bow.
Next up is the Texans versus the Saints. Oh, beautiful game.
Beautiful game.
Saints won 30-28 on a Will Lux 58-yard field goal. And the last 3 drives of the games was all scoring plays.
Wow. All 3 drives scored.
Yeah.
Wow.
Saints scored. Then you know what I was impressed by?
Huh.
So I
Tell me.
was impressed by this. So Saints come down and score. They're down. Houston's down. You know I'm a D. Watts guy because he's a Clemson guy.
Of course.
He comes
what was
down.
up with him missing 3 passes in a row, man? That was just
It
not.
happens, you know.
It does happen.
Yeah.
You got he made up for it.
Yeah,
Plenty.
but so Drew Brees comes, and this is all fourth quarter, probably like 5-6 minutes ish left.
Yeah.
Drew Brees comes down to score, and then D. Watt comes down, throws the ball to Kenny Stills. He scores,
I know.
and I'm like, Miami, that's what you get for giving this guy up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was technically supposed to be the game-winning touchdown right there
it was
that he had. But what was the dumbest thing was, you're playing versus Drew Brees, you're up by 2 points, and then, there's like 30 seconds left in the game when he scored, or 35, 40 seconds left in the game when he scored. Then you go into like a prevent defense. Whereas like the safeties is like 20, 25 yards off the ball.
Yeah.
When only thing Drew Brees has to do is get this ball to the 40-yard line and then they're in field goal range.
And it's over.
And I'm like, for 2 to 3 plays in a row, they played prevent defense, and he marched the ball down there in those 2 to 3 plays and put them guys in field goal range in order for Lux to kick a 58-yard field goal. And it's like, that defensive coordinator, Romeo Cornell, defensive coordinator at Houston Texans, you gave that game away to them.
You absolutely
gave
that
them
game
a
away.
gift. You gave Drew Brees a gift.
It was the dumbest decision I've ever seen. But I will say this on the other side of the ball, the best clock management I've ever seen. They kept it in the field, didn't call a timeout until the very end. They had excellent clock management on that last drive. How about that body slam from D-Hop? Yo, that was crazy. He ends up getting a little bit kind of stomped by the Saints players. Well-deserved stomping, but that was pretty awesome.
He's a receiver doing that, so it doesn't. They should have been penalized for that too.
Yeah, I mean,
it should have went both ways.
It should have went both ways. But I will say that like D-Hop is a gangster. Like
I was like, whoa.
You know what? Will Fuller, man. That man lays out for the ball. And also...
Did you see that the catch?
Yeah. Everything, man. This whole team. Even Carlos Hyde has come into this team. He smells what's going on, and he came out and he performed. You know, not the best running back of the week, but he came out knowing this was his last opportunity.
Can I hit you with another I told you so?
Oh.
Because I told you about Will Fuller.
Yeah.
And now that they got
Wait, but it's week 1. Will Fuller might be injured by week 4.
But now they got Kenny Stills.
Yeah, Kenny Stills.
That's
a
helping
problem.
him out.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
and you are right.
People don't realize when you get other receivers in there, it takes the pressure off of you.
And once Kiki Kuti comes back, it's going to be even more of a problem.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of the most dangerous offenses in the NFL. And adding Laramie Tunsil to protect D. Watson is really going to make a difference.
But he still was getting killed back there, though.
Yeah, but I don't think as bad as he usually does.
Yeah.
And on top of which, the Saints' defensive line, I mean, Jordan Cameron, this is a pretty dangerous defensive line. I think it's underrated. And the last game is Seahawks versus Bengals. A lot closer game than we expected it to be. A lot closer game than even Vegas expected it to be. And it was what I was impressed with was DK Metcalf. I think, we talked about John Ross already, but DK Metcalf, once again. It was the night of rookies, man. All these rookie wide receivers were really just impressing, and DK Metcalf didn't fall short of that as well.
But what about they having Andy Dalton throw the ball 51 times?
Damn.
He went 35 for 51 with 418 yards and 2 TDs.
Damn.
That was like
Andy Dalton that we don't normally see.
Yeah.
Maybe Andy Dalton knows that he's on the bubble, that he's pretty close, that this is his make or break season, and he's trying to.
Tyler Boyd stepped up in that game too.
I think, with the exception for Joe Mixon getting hurt, Cincinnati stepped up. In general, and Chris Carson 2 touchdowns, man. I think this was an underrated game. That's why I had to put it on the list. It was very underrated, but a lot of awesome things went down in this game. So, and I realized that I have not done my spreads, so I'm going to let you go first.
All right, so my picks for week 2. Listen in if you're a betting man. If you want to make some money off of Ace, I got seven wins. Like I told you guys, I thought I was going to go undefeated, but close enough. So my first game that I'm picking is Tampa Bay versus Carolina. Carolina's -6.5. I'm taking Carolina. Dallas versus Washington. Dallas is -4.5 to Washington. I'm taking Dallas. Seattle was +4 against Pittsburgh. I'm going with Seattle right there, the underdog. Los Angeles Chargers is -2.5 to Detroit. I like the Los Angeles Chargers right there. The Patriots is -18.5 to Miami. I like the Patriots to win by 40. Buffalo Bills is playing versus the New York Giants, excuse me. The Giants is +2. I like the Giants right there. I think they're going to try to get one of their games that they're going to win. Chicago Bears is playing versus Denver. Chicago is -2.5. I like Chicago Bears right there. Denver didn't impress me yesterday. Cleveland Browns is +3 to New York Jets. I like the Cleveland Browns. That's a bounce back game for them. Kansas City is -8 versus Oakland. I like KC right there. And Jacksonville versus Houston. Houston's -8.5. I like Houston right there.
Alrighty. So, let me just There we go. So I have Panthers versus Bucks. Bucks are getting 7, and I have to go with the Panthers. And then you have the Chargers versus the Lions. Lions are plus 2.5, and I'm going with the Chargers. Pats versus the Dolphins. Dolphins getting plus 18.5. I'm still taking the Patriots.
Yes.
Cowboys versus the Redskins. Redskins get 5. Obviously, the Cowboys. Texans versus the Jags. And Jags are getting 8.5. Still going to go with the Texans on this one. Bears versus the Broncos. Broncos are getting 3. I still want the Bears. Ravens versus the Cardinals. Cardinals are getting 13. And I originally was going to go with the Ravens, but I'm going with the Cards. That's too big of a point spread. And then we have the Chiefs versus the Raiders, and the Raiders are getting plus 8, and I'm going to still go with the Chiefs. Vikings versus the Packers. Packers are minus 3. I'm going with the Vikings. I think the Vikings defense is stronger. Texans versus the Colts. The Colts are getting 3 points, but I think the Titans take this with the strength of their defense. So that's what we have for that. And next, we will move on to the top 5 games to watch this week. We're doing separate on this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So my
Let's
top game is going to be a division game, Panthers versus Bucks. I think that Jameis Winston's going to throw a couple interceptions, but I think that somehow, some way, Bruce Arians is going to make this game competitive.
Well, I like the Panthers there, though.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Panthers, after losing last week, I think they bounced back this week.
Absolutely.
They look good. They look real good. It was a tight game. So, for me, it's Arizona versus Baltimore. I want to see if Baltimore still got the juice, and I want to watch Kyler Murray because, like you said, that's a lot of points that they're getting.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what happens in that game.
Yeah, and I think you got two guys who like to sling the ball,
Yeah,
and 2 guys who can run. So it could be interesting to see what happens. I have the Saints versus the Rams. I think this is game of the week. You have a revenge game. 2 teams that literally want to tear each other's heads off. This is going to be a bloodbath, and for some reason, I think the Rams take this game.
Next up for me, it's Seattle versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's terrible offense. I just want to see them play again, just to see if it is a real thing.
Okay.
If they don't score more than 21 points, I feel like it is a real thing. They're going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers who everybody think they are. You might as well jump on a different team, different bandwagon, because they have to put up at least 21 to make it a believable game.
And I actually took that game as well, and I believe that you are correct that the Seahawks will win that game. But I did also take, and I think this might be a weird choice, but I think the Bills versus the Giants. I think you have that excellent run game with Saquon Barkley, and Evan Ingram had an awesome game last week. Eli Manning is fighting for his job, and the Bills have rebuilt a team. They're trying to make it work. They got some young guys. I think this could be an exciting game to watch, and I'm going to go with the Bills.
Next up for me is Cleveland versus the Jets. Monday Night Football they're playing on, and I want to see how Cleveland can bounce back. Jets didn't look bad, but Cleveland looked horrible, so I just want to see if they can bounce back in that.
And that Jets defense is looking real tough, so it's still going to be a challenge for them Cleveland Browns. And I actually did write that, but since you did, I'm just going to say I want to see that Patriots-Miami game.
Oh, yeah, I had that down too.
All right, because I want to see Antonio Brown. I want to see
I want to see if Miami's really tanking.
Oh, no, Miami is absolutely tanking. This is going to be a slaughter, and this is going to be a warm-up game for Antonio Brown, and I love it.
Cool.
Is that all?
That's all.
All right, so let's talk for a quick second. How much time do we have on the clock? We got 10 minutes. That's cool. So, Cleveland, epic fail. Now marks 17 consecutive years that the Cleveland Browns have not won a home opener. You assembled a team of excellent players, high-level cast, and not only did you not get the job done, you got dominated. Four consecutive drives that ended in some version of a turnover, 3 interceptions in 4 drives, and one, I don't know if it was a punt or turnover on downs, but I know 4 plays went right back to Tennessee. What do you think?
I thought it was a horrible, horrible thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people was jumping on Cleveland bandwagon,
Mm-hmm.
but I honestly can say, well, Baker threw 3 picks. Cleveland gave up 21 points in the fourth quarter, and you got, like we're talking about, like I said, you got to play 4 quarters of football. That's
Yep.
not the way to finish. But with all the negativity, I felt like being a football player, they was all playing selfish, like individuals.
Mm-hmm.
They're always doing individual football things, and you can't win an NFL game playing like an individual. You got to have a team.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2 thing is, I feel as though this could be a good thing for Cleveland because that calms down the hype a little bit more.
Exactly.
Like, everybody's like, they're going to win a Super Bowl. They got all these guys that they brought in, da-da-da-da.
It's a humbling experience as well.
So, yeah, sometimes you need that ass whooping to humble yourself.
Yep.
And I think that's what they got. And I think that Cleveland will go in there and be humble. And I think that they're going to turn things around. And it's a long season. So you can't count them out yet.
No.
You got to give them time. But it was a humbling experience. Like, sometimes when the bully gets beat up, it's a humbling experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes when your parents give you a good whooping that you never thought you was going to get, it's a humbling
It's a
experience.
humbling experience.
So I think that
when
they
that
got
girl
humble.
you ask for the number tells you no, it's a humbling experience.
So that's just what they went through. But how about OBJ wearing the $350,000 watch?
Stupid.
Savage. That's savage.
It's savage. I guess the watch is like indestructible, but he definitely got spoken to about it. But says the watch is being worn regardless of what's been said.
Because that's an endorsement for him.
Oh,
Like, with the company,
yeah.
that
But you're not allowed to wear it. You
Yeah.
can only wear a necklace. You can't
in the
wear.
NFL you can't wear watches, right?
Yeah.
But that certain watch company sponsors different like golfers and tennis players, and they wear the watch while they're playing, and that's how their endorsements. Like, they make $1 million watches. Like, so the watch that OBJ had on was just like a regular watch to them because Roger Federer wears a $1.5 million watch from
That's
the company.
ridiculous.
There's
Why do you
different
need to
tennis
have
players.
$1.5 million on your wrist.
Well, if you have endorsements and you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
people paying for it, then
Yeah,
that's
then
what
it doesn't
is.
matter.
So with OBJ, I think that's part of his endorsement to wear the watch because part of the watch company's endorsement is that you got to wear the watch.
Correct.
So even though if he wears it, he'll get fined for it. But on the back end, he'll get that money back probably from that company.
They'll probably pay his
Yeah,
fines.
yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's all about, people, like we're talking about AB. It's all about marketing. It's not about being a knucklehead. It's about your brand. It's about branding yourself. It's about your life after football. It's about your retirement. So some of these guys is, back in the day, football players just did whatever. Nowadays, there's so many means to make money.
Yeah.
Being a
Outside of
professional,
outside of football, yeah.
like being a professional football player, because what people don't realize is this, and I broke it down to you before, because you didn't know. NHL, that's guaranteed money. Baseball, they're signing $300-400 million contracts, guaranteed money. Same thing with NBA. Football's the only sport that you have to, every week, you have to live up to your contract in order to get paid, what you need to get paid.
Yep.
So if you get hurt, your money declines depending on who you are and what's in your contract negotiations.
Yep.
If, like you're talking about, AB has to score a certain amount of touchdowns or get a certain amount of yards. How could you tell a guy he's selfish when you're also on the back end of things? You're telling the guy, yeah, you have to have 1,000 yards in order to get this certain amount of money.
Yep.
Or you have to have 10 touchdowns in order to get this type of money. People forget the little things that's built in their contract to make these people who they are, and that's why they act the way they do and they do the things that they do, because at the end of the day,
They're scraping for every penny. They may be making millions, but they're scraping for every penny.
Exactly.
Of it.
Because at the end of the day, football can end, your career can end today.
Yeah.
And then what are you going to do
Your
tomorrow
football
to provide for your family?
football career can end not even playing football.
Yeah.
So it makes a lot of sense. But I will say this. Not a very good showing for Cleveland.
No.
I mean, this should have been. I don't want to say it should have been a layup because Tennessee has a tough defense, but to go down the way that they did, it was. You know what bothered me is they didn't run the ball. Like Nick Chubb didn't even. I don't think he broke 100 yards.
No.
Like,
No.
How? Like what? Like I feel like they didn't play the right game. I think they were trying to do like a highlight reel game, and instead of just playing smart football.
Individual football.
Individual football.
All right, Baker, go out there and sling it to everybody. Like, no, you can't do that.
No, run the ball.
Yeah.
Run the ball. And you have Nick Chubb. Man, utilize that guy. It was so stupid. Breaking news is just moments ago. It'll be day or two late once you guys hear about it. Demaryius Thomas traded from the New England Patriots to the New York Jets. Weird enough for a 2021 sixth-round draft pick. I thought Demaryius Thomas, after his showing in the preseason game, that he'd be worth a little bit more than that. What do you think?
I think one or two things. I think the first thing is, do you keep that many receivers knowing that you got AB now? That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because
they got a lot.
They got a lot, especially the rookie guy that you love.
Jacoby Myers. Olszewski.
Yeah,
the kid who returns punts. They got a lot.
And on the flip side of things, I think they also came to him like, hey, if you want to stay with the Patriots, you got to be a tight end. You got to be a Gronk.
Maybe.
And he's probably like, no, I still want to be a receiver. All right, well, see you later.
Yeah. Or
it could be one or two things.
Yeah, maybe they even said like, hey, look, we got all these guys here. Do you want to get traded? We don't want to release you. We gave you a good contract. We talked about this contract. If we trade you, you get to keep it.
Exactly.
So I do think that the terms of this deal, terms of this trade, had to do with a deal that the Patriots made with Demaryius Thomas. Like, we'll give you this amount of money, so that way if we trade you, you continue getting that money instead of releasing you and not getting it. So. I don't like the trade because it's an interdivisional trade. I would have liked to have seen him go to a different team, but it is what it is. Let's break down the college.
Well, we only got 1 minute, so we're gonna stay away from college.
Okay.
Just watch it. Shout out to my Lynn English boys. They'll be playing Friday night versus Swampskit.
Yes, and I got to get to this real quick because it's actually football news for the New England Patriots. Let me find it real quick. I got 1 minute. I think I can get to it.
Pass on. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, pay attention to the channel. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Jim Bag ENT.
And Lynn's Amanda Mina sang the national anthem at the New England Patriots opening game. Had to throw that out there because it's a Lynn girl singing the anthem.
Yes.
But yes, YouTube, Jim Bag Entertainment. Check it out. And until then, we'll see you in the end zone. Have a good night.